Hello everyone, this is Professor Hill, and this is a brief video for the class Introduction to Ethics 2306, the online Maymester version here at St. Philip's College. And today is Friday, May the 19th. It's actually the day that our first discussion assignment is due. And so I wanted to leave you a little message of encouragement, but also to follow up to the message I gave you yesterday. On Thursday the 18th, I left a message talking about Chapter 2 in our book, Doing Ethics by Lewis Vaughn. And I mentioned that at the beginning of that chapter, he says this chapter is going to be about four things. It's going to be about objectivism, subjective relativism, cultural relativism, and emotivism. But then, as I pointed out, he doesn't do that. He talks about three of the four, and in fact spends the chapter tearing down those three. But he leaves out objectivism. There's not a section on it. There is, in fact, one sentence about it in which he says this kind of remarkable thing. It's in the part just above emotivism. It's where the section on cultural relativism is ending. And he's been talking about the problems with cultural relativism. And he says, listen, a far better explanation of these features is that some form of moral objectivism is true. So it doesn't have a section devoted to it. He just says it's true. And in fact, you'll note on that quick review box on page 23, where they actually have all four of the terms. The first one is just objectivism, and it says the view that some moral principles are valid for everyone. The next three terms he gives a definition, but then he also has this little thing that says implications. So it's kind of like the definition and then what's really wrong with this thing. So he's pretty clear that of the four things he's laying out there, one's the right one. These other three have big problems. Now, here's the thing, and the reason we start with the discussion problems, the discussions that I want you to weigh in and think about. The first one's about Jenni Lake. That's the one that's due tonight, midnight. And like I said yesterday, it's a difficult, tragic, sad case. And again, the short version is about a young girl, 17, who finds out she has cancer. She starts to undergo treatment for the cancer, radiation, chemotherapy. And then she finds out that she's pregnant. And she's given this pretty stark contrast, A or B. It's continue your treatment, the life-saving treatment that you need, the radiation and chemotherapy to save your life, but that will end the pregnancy. Or you could stop those things and allow the baby to grow to full term. But if you do that, 9 months from now, without treatment, your cancer will have progressed to the point where we won't be able to save your life. So it's a pretty stark choice. In the end, she makes the decision to go ahead and stop her treatment. She does give birth to a healthy baby boy, but she dies a few days later. Again, it was a tragic story. It was just never going to have a happy ending. But the question is, and I wanted you to weigh in on this, do you think she did the right thing? What is the right thing in a situation like that? Is there a right thing in a situation like that? If there is, how do you know? Now, we're going to be getting at our approach to this. I'm curious about not just what your decision is, but what you're thinking behind it. Later, we'll talk about, are you weighing the consequences or are you looking at rules and principles? And that conversation begins in this chapter because our author, Lewis Vaughn, is saying, look, moral objectivism is the fact that there are some moral principles that are valid for everyone. Now, is there one that applies in this case? If so, what is it? If there is a moral principle that applies, where do those things come from? See, this is where it gets tricky. This is the hard part. This is the stuff that we want to begin to wrestle with so that we can not only make difficult moral choices, which we're going to have to do, but also spend some time now thinking about them before we're faced with them, about what are they based on? Are these things about just the unique circumstances? Are we applying rules and principles that would apply to everyone in a similar situation? That's where this gets tricky. So think to yourself about not just the decision that I'm asking you to make. Tell me what you think about our decision. The right decision, the wrong decision. But the hard part, the tricky part, the part that I want you to spend some time thinking about is why. Why do you think that? Where did that come from? Are you applying rules and principles? Are you looking at the consequences? It gets tricky fast, but again, that's why we wanted to start with chapter 1, morality, ethics, get to chapter 2, start talking about the foundation of these things. Is our approach a fundamentally relativistic one, or is it a fundamentally objectivist one? More on that soon, but again, looking forward to what you got to say about the Jenni Lake case study. Hope everybody gets them in on time. Like I said, today's Friday the 19th. But again, even if you come in a little late, that's fine. It'll just get knocked down a little bit if it's late, but you still want to do it. And again, if you have any questions, you can always write me or call me. But I look forward to seeing what you've written and to the exchange of ideas. So for today, take care, and we'll talk again soon. Bye-bye.